It's game week, everybody. Schuyler Callihan here on Between the Ears. We have a slight change in our schedule. We decided to hold off on our record predictions until tomorrow as Neil Brown's going to be speaking today. We got kind of sidetracked with the new schedule change where they're going from Tuesday to Monday this year. So we figured we'd hear Neil talk one more time to make sure that we get the full update of everybody in terms of injuries and all that stuff. So we're going to hold off onto that until tomorrow. But we promise we will have our record predictions up for tomorrow. So today, instead, I'm going to talk about the biggest concerns for West Virginia heading into this first game and really for the entire season. And we talked a little bit about that in our one of our shows last week when I had Chris on. And I think, you could obviously start looking at the quarterback position, okay? And talk about Garrett Green and how that's a concern because, to be honest, we haven't seen what he can do as a full-time starter outside of a couple of games. So what does that look like now when teams have that tape on him and can adjust? Can he still complete passes at a high enough clip? Last year, I think he was like 58-ish%. You'd like to get him over that 60% hump. And if he can and take care of the football, then I think you've got a good situation on your hands. If not, that's a big problem. But to me, that's not really where my concern is. I'm not really concerned about the quarterback situation with Garrett Green, Nico Marchiol. Like, I think either way, they're going to figure things out. They're going to find an answer there between one of those two guys. For me, on the offensive side of the ball, it's clear as day, right? Who is going to step up and be Mr. Reliable? Again, we're not asking for somebody to step up and go for 1,000 yards. I think that's a little unrealistic, especially in this offense when you have the personnel that you have with all those running backs. You don't need that type of a guy, but you do need somebody that can step up in third and gotta have it, in red zone gotta have it. And in situations where you need to move the sticks and score touchdowns. Now, if we're just looking at prior experience and with the guys that they have in this room, something tells me Devin Carter is that guy, right? The NC State transfer who made several big plays during his time with the Wolfpack. He had a game-winning catch against Clemson in the back corner of the end zone, which was a beautiful catch, by the way. If you haven't seen that, go onto YouTube or even check my Twitter out. I'll even repost that video that I tweeted out earlier this summer. Great catch. He's made a lot of those plays, a lot of big time down the field catches in his career. That's what gives me the confidence to think that he can be that guy. But with there being more attention on him now this year, that's what's going to be a little concerning because now it's not this big physical receiver that's got a lot of speed that's kind of buried a little bit in the depth chart. He's going to be either one or two in this offense. So I'm interested to see how he responds to that kind of attention. But if it's not Devin Carter, then who? Is it Cortez Braham, who they have made it very clear that he seems to be the guy right now, or at least one of the top two guys? Is it somebody else that we're really not talking about right now? Is it one of those true freshmen, Ronnie Gallagher or Traylon Ray, that maybe as the season goes on, they get more confidence and they end up being those guys? I don't know. But finding somebody to be Mr. Reliable is key for this offense. Again, you don't need a 1,000-yard receiver. You just don't. But you do need a Da'Keil Shorts on this team. You need a guy that on third down, if you throw it and everybody on the field knows you're throwing in his direction, including the defense, that he can still come up with the play, move the chains, keep the drives alive, and score touchdowns. That's what this offense needs in the passing game. Defensively, I think you could say there's a little bit of a concern in each of the three areas. With the defensive line, you've lost so much talent up there. You lost three starters in Taj Olson, Dante Stills, Jordan Jefferson. The linebacking core, the depth is really the issue there. And then the secondary, it's a mixed bag of guys where you've got a Power Five transfer Beanie Bishop, you've got a G5 transfer Montre Miller, you've got two promising young players, Andrew Wilson Lamp and Jacoby Spells, all at corner. And then at safety, you've got Mr. Steady and Aubrey Burks, who everyone believes is going to be an all Big 12 player, and Keyshawn Cobb, who's transferring in from Buffalo. You got Marcus Floyd, who's coming back. You've got Anthony Wilson, everyone, including myself, is high on out of Georgia Southern. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag there, but I feel like that secondary is much stronger, as I said in one of the episodes last week. That it's a much better secondary group than what it's getting credit for. So to me, it comes down to picking your poison between linebacker, defensive line. Which one's the more of the concern? I would probably say defensive line. And the only reason I say that is because at least at linebacker, you kind of have some answers already going into the season, right? You have Lee Koba, who is very proven at this point in his career. He's played a lot of football, leading tackler from a year ago. And you've got Lance Dixon, who's played a lot of football. You've got Jared Bartlett. Again, I know he's a bandit, but I kind of attached them with the linebackers. You've got some guys there within that starting group, and you got Trey Lathan, a redshirt freshman, who I believe is going to emerge as that starting will. He can be a very, very good player on this defense this season. I really believe that. So I think the top end of that talent in that linebacker room is there. It's just the depth that's the concern with Tariq Austin Cave. Like, can he push to get on the field? Can Hershey McLaurin? Can Tyron Bradley? Can James Hurd Jr.? Can Jai Favris? Can Ben Cutter? I mean, can all those guys, can they push for playing time? That's the biggest thing. And not only when they push for playing time, but what does it look like when they actually do get those opportunities? That's a concern, but nowhere, in my opinion, near the concern that you have on that defensive line, where you really don't know what you have. We've heard all these great things about Eddie Vesterinen, but I mean, we've got to see it first, right? We saw glimpses of it. We saw what he could do in a rotational role a year ago. But this is big time football now, big boy football, where he's in there 3 downs every single drive. And he's a 3-down player. So I want to see what that jump looks like for Eddie Vesterinen. Is he a guy that's just going to be steady, kind of like a Reese Donahue-ish type guy, where he's not really going to be, tallying up TFLs and sacks left and right, but he's going to be, good enough and steady enough to maintain a starting spot? Or is he going to be somebody that really explodes into that playmaker type of player that West Virginia really needs up front? That's a question mark. Then you got inside Mike Lockhart, Hammond Russell, Fator Momola. Those 3 guys. I don't think there's going to be one of those that really emerges and separates themselves from the rest. And to be quite honest, I don't know that they're going to get the opportunities to, because they all 3 are kind of like 1A, 1B, 1C right now. And you can throw them in there and just rotate them. So I don't know that there's going to be that opportunity for that separation. But can those 3 kind of make up for the loss of Jordan Jefferson? And it kind of reminds me of Moneyball. If you've ever seen that movie, right? When you're talking about trying to make up for Giambi, right? Well, if he doesn't hit home runs, how do you make up for him? He gets on base, right? Well, for these 3 guys, they've got to get in the backfield and make plays. So even though there may not be that one guy that is the Jordan Jefferson of that defense up front, all 3 of them have to come together and make up for what Jordan Jefferson is leaving behind. If they can do that, they're set there. On the other side, you got Sean Martin, who I think is without question the most talented player on this defense. I think he has got the most NFL potential, and it's not even close, at least at this point. I think he can fulfill that Dante Stills type of production. I do. But, a big but. I mean, he's coming into the season a little banged up already. If he's dealing with any sort of injuries throughout the year, what does that do to that depth at that position? That is a major, major concern. I don't know that they have the guys there. And that's why, again, I'm talking about this defensive line as the biggest concern to me on this side of the ball, because not only is there question marks with the starting unit, but there's question marks with the second and the third units and so on and so forth. So if any one of those three guys, or if you want to count the three guys in the middle as one, if any one of those guys go down, it's I wouldn't say time to hit the panic alarm just yet, but it's going to be quite the windy road for sure. So I don't know what that again. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know who fills in, who steps up, but that to me is where the biggest concern is on the defensive side of the ball. Is that defensive line from top to bottom? There's really not a whole lot of answers there going into the season, proven wise, at least from us as the media, and I'm sure the fans are thinking the same thing. Coaching staff may already have some of those answers figured out, but nobody else does. Offensively, again, the wide receivers, someone's got to step up there too and be Mr. Reliable. Be Mr. Da'Keel Shorts. Know who you're going to on third down, and there's got to have it situations. Who's going to be that guy? If you figure out those answers on those sides of the ball, then maybe West Virginia's got a chance to get bowl eligible and then some. So that's going to do it for today's episode. I'm Schuyler Callihan here on Between the Ears. We thank you guys so much for checking out our videos every single day here on Mountaineers Now. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page at Mountaineers Now and hit that like button. Follow us on Twitter, or X as it's now called, at Mountaineers Now. You can follow me at Callihan _. And one last thing here is we're actually going to offer you guys some gear. This is something brand new that we just started actually overnight. If you go to the link in the description, you can click on that link, and there's going to be several options for you guys to pick up some Between the Ears gear, along with Mountaineers Now, the Walkthrough Game Day show, which we also have coming up this week with Eugene Napoleon, breaking down the West Virginia-Penn State game and getting into our weekly predictions. So we've got Walkthrough Game Day show, Between the Ears, and Mountaineers Now gear up for sale for you guys. We could not do this without you, so please continue to support us by subscribing, maybe buy a t-shirt or so every now and then. We're not begging you to, but if you want to continue to help us out, that would be great as well. And everything that you guys do is great for us. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, and I promise you Chris will be here. I promise you we'll have him back. We'll get into our game-by-game predictions, all 12 of them for West Virginia. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.